We know what we're looking for in a winner, and each task helps us to get closer to that point. You're dismissed.
I didn't come to play around, I came to win. This competition means stepping out of my comfort zone.
What I've learned from the activities, and then I'm gonna put that together, come up with a strategy and take it one day at a time.
I don't want to go in and say, this is my strategy and this is exactly how I'm going to win. I think that needs to go through a process of being adapted.
Strategic alliances, this is quite important, and being prepared, always being prepared for every task that you go to.
I have a deep desire to be the best. I think that's what drives me. If you don't compete, how do you know that you're the best?
The Insurance Apprentice is the perfect platform for me to display the skills and the techniques that I've learned within the insurance industry and to share that with the rest of South Africa.
If I forget that they're good and they made it here this far because they were good, then I would lose the competition.
Being able to, answer questions, handle tasks well, and just engage with the team members.
$204, 60, 20, 8. That's your journey to getting here. There were 204 of you to begin with. We're down to the last 8. After today, there'll be 7. Today's task is sponsored by Sasria. We have Farida Benjamin here. She'll be taking you through the task. Welcome, Farida.
Sasria is the only state-owned insurance company that specializes in special risk. We cover South Africans, individuals, businesses and government entities against things such as political uprising, protests and riots, and in extreme cases, terrorism. The industry and Sasria has been working very closely since 1979, and we basically partner with insurance companies to take our product to market. And as we well know, South Africans in general, in the SME space as well as personal lines, there's a huge portion of the market that does not enjoy insurance cover. So your task today is to find a way of making that a reality by understanding the SMEs, understanding their need, and making sure that whatever the pitch is that you offer them is relevant to them. That does not take away from Sasria, our objective, and make sure our product is understood.
So what's going to happen today, we've got a group of SMEs, business owners, who are going to be joining us. You'll have a little bit of time to meet with them, to fine-tune your pitch. As Farida said, you're really looking at ways of introducing Sasria to what's possibly an uninsured market, probably uneducated about the benefits of Sasria. You'll have to cover all of that. After your meetings, we'll then go into the auditorium and you'll have the opportunity to present to us and to the SMEs, and you'll be judged on your ability to get the message across about Sasria and the benefits of having it. You're going to be split into groups of 2 today, and the groups are, you've got Carl and Joseph, Knox and Blessed, Kutlwano and Vanette, and Sam and Gobusamang. Good luck. You're dismissed.
Sasria is very passionate about developing people in South Africa across all spectrums. And in terms of the insurance sector, it's a sector that we are seeing that there's a lot more young, raw talent that can be developed into the future of South Africa for this industry.
Although I support individual challenges because you see your strengths, in a team you get more ideas and you get criticism, because when you're thinking of things yourself, you always write in your head.
When there are 2 people, do you need a leader in a group that size? Is it something that just naturally happens? It'll be interesting to see how that plays out when they actually do the presentations.
Today we've been placed in teams of 2, and I think that there's something very special about that. I think that GM is very, very structured in the way that he thinks. He is very cool, calm and collected, and I think that's great because I can be a little bit of a hothead sometimes.
We've split our tasks and then we're going to bring it all together. So it's not like one person's doing everything. We are both doing our part and then putting it together at the end.
I am picking up a bit of dominance, and I don't want to be that person, so I do want to allow her to also have some input. So I want to keep a little bit quiet in certain areas, just to give her a chance so we can handle this task together and properly.
How the groups have been approaching this has been quite different. I was a little bit worried in the beginning when I observed Nokolo and Blessed. I think they were going down a rabbit hole because they were looking at areas like governance and King 4.
We've been given an amount of research to do where we can sort of look at the contribution of the SMEs to the economy. And when we can look at the historical impact of strikes and riots, we saw the impact of fees must fall. We saw the impact of xenophobic attack, how it affected your SMEs and how it took some of the companies out of business. So we have to take that and contextualize to the solution that we want to present to the SMEs.
The thinking behind it is not very removed from me in terms of developing this country. And you're talking about SMEs and how to bring a largely uninsured community into the formal insurance market, which is SASRIA's mandate.
We're not really accessing the emerging markets. So your up-and-coming SMEs often don't buy insurance, have never bought insurance before. So convincing them that it's necessary is the first challenge. And the second is obviously to try and explain what the cover itself is.
What I'm looking for in particular is that the insurance apprentice contestants right now, they're from the industry. They are exposed every day to the normal operational mechanisms of how insurance works. And given what I've just said about people not being able to access SASRIA, what I'm looking for is that they haven't thought out of the box, that they've ignored the box completely. That they've looked at SASRIA, that they've looked at the needs of what these SMMEs and SMEs need, and thought of a way of bringing SASRIA to them with no box.
Anyone who's got a broker in their team or anyone who is a broker has an advantage. We've tried to have a broker in each team and somebody from an insurance company, so it should be fairly evenly balanced. But it remains to be seen whether or not they can turn that to an advantage.
The nice thing about this duo is he brings a very high-level view of the solution itself and what it needs to do. But at the same time, we're presenting to SMEs. These are your lower LSMs. So you need to find a way to reach them because boardroom speak is not going to speak to them necessarily. So that's going to be our main challenge. But I think we've got that covered.
We've got this. Nokolo decided to start a company where she was letting out construction tools to SMEs. As she was going about her business in 2017, she was attacked by rioters that damaged her bakkie and looted all her construction tools.
Now, if I told you that you could buy this cover for as little as R2 every month for your whole business, would you buy it now?
How are you going to convince a traditional, old-minded, traditional business person to embark on what Bull is doing? Spend that little bit to take care of their business future.
To everyone who says insurance is expensive, I say in relation to what? The loss is now greater than any premium you would have paid.
They use 6 minutes to tell a story. Mm-hmm. And then they use another 6 minutes to now really talk about the proposition.
Knox did most of the work in terms of engaging the audience, speaking on the audience level and pulling them into the idea. Where Blessed was more technical, showing I understand insurance, I can speak the insurance jargon, the language.
So he was kind of playing to us rather than to the audience.
Yeah.
We've both got strengths that we can feed off of one of each other. And our strategy really is, I'm not here to make him look bad. I want to make him look good, because if he looks good, I'll probably look good as well. So I think there's a benefit in working for a team, because there's things he knows that I don't, and vice versa.
Once we get a chance, we just going to try to understand what services they provide and how we can provide the perfect cover for them.
Fees must fall.
Service delivery protests.
Xenophobic attacks.
Many businesses, especially SMEs, are greatly impacted by this. Did you know that SMEs contribute to 91% of all businesses in South Africa and are the beating heartbeat and lifeblood of our community?
Let's take, for example, Kamu and Mamuraki, who run sewing businesses. Vangwanani Trading, who runs construction companies. All these businesses and many more have one fear in common.
And that is the unforeseen loss to earn money, their breadwinning capacity.
So, what is Sasria?
It's simple. Sasria is a state-owned entity that covers the extraordinary. To go through a process of an education program where we educate you as to how to administer and facilitate a claim.
I don't know if I missed it, but did you mention how much this would cost me monthly?
As for the pricing now, Sasria as an extension, it's very cheap. We do not have the direct pricing.
They had 3 hours to prepare.
Yeah.
And they spent 3.5 minutes speaking about SMME. And in that 3.5 minutes, the information wasn't clear.
They really dodged uncomfortably the costing issue. A direct question about the costing, they just weren't able to come up with anything there.
There are needs in the informal sector, in the informal business sector, that a lot of people don't understand. So some of the needs you have to have experienced, and we have the advantage of experience in this.
In the past, these SME entities have not been offered this insurance coverage because their needs have not been understood.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have put together a product that we call Sasria Lite. The Sasria Lite app also has features like you can view the cover benefits of Sasria Lite, you can view the sum insured, you know your premiums, and it also gives you risk improvement advice. So risk improvement advice would be things like, there's a strike coming, make sure you have burglar bars on your windows.
Claims are the most important part of this entire process. This is where we can demonstrate to you how the policy works and how it responds. This is make or break. In summary, we need to ensure that we understand the business's needs in order to ensure that the correct cover is being given to the business. It is also important that the business understands the benefits and the exclusions of the policy.
Is there some other way of submitting a claim, just in case you don't have access to a mobile device?
Having a collaboration with the post office, local post office stocking Sasria claim forms. So if you don't have access to mobile devices, you can go into your local post office.
Yesterday, Joseph didn't do very well, but I thought he nailed today. You know, he just he owned his space.
Yeah.
He definitely came across as leading the group, but they worked well as a team. I don't know whether they discussed the post office thing beforehand or whether he just came up with that while he was standing on stage.
Nailed.
But that was a great idea. Yeah.
And they also were very specific about the 24-hour turnaround time in acknowledgement of your claim and giving you at that point in time the level of comfort in terms of how long your claim would take.
If I was an SME in the township and, you know, Carl came to see me and he stood in the doorway like that, I'd probably assume he was here to investigate me for tax fraud. Right?
We're not trying to do everything together at one time, so we're kind of splitting responsibility as well, just to share the responsibility. So one is researching this and the other is researching a different aspect of the task.
What we are proposing, based on our research, is a product, is to develop a division within Sasria focusing purely on standalone policies.
Standalone policy does not have an underlying policy and is only for certain risks such as your riot and strike.
we won't necessarily advise you not to get an underlying policy. Now, with regards to the claims process, as Vinette mentioned, the division will be set up within Sasria offices, and we will have a dedicated claims team to ensure that claims turnaround is quick. Now, the way we will ensure that is by means of an app, for example, where a claim will be loaded so that we obtain all information and all necessary documentation at once.
I heard you talking about the issue of claims. How quick is quick?
It will be based on the material of the claim and whether the claim is valid. And so we are looking at max a month.
I don't think that satisfies me.
It depends on what happens. So what is the circumstance of the claim, what information is gathered, and from there, at that point, a time frame will be given to you. But standing where I am right now, to say to you a week, it wouldn't be fair for me to actually give you that type of time frame right now.
I was expecting a lot more from Kutlwano. I thought she kind of went to pieces a little bit.
Kutlwano, who seems very comfortable to be a public speaker, who was able to explain some terms in there. And then you had Vinette, who was basically uptight. The whole time she was like this and holding this piece of paper.
The issue around the claims turnaround times was a problem.
Yeah.
A month.
Yeah.
Whilst I wouldn't encourage people to make promises they can't keep, picking one that you can definitely keep, but you're not going to sell any policies.
They started the presentation so factual and correct in terms of the SME and the impact on the community and the need to be readily recoverable.
Yes.
Instant recoverable to be able to continue. And then at the end, when the claims question comes, they throw a month at it.
I think that was a good opportunity for you to shine in front of an audience, which some of you did and some of you failed dismally at. I'm going to hand over to Farida now, our sponsor from Sasria, to give her input on your presentations. Farida?
So let me talk about what went well. The Sasria research that you guys conducted, the fact that you actually went in thinking of Sasria as one type of insurance, as a tick box. And I think you actually understood more about Sasria after your research that you guys have done. Also, you've gone into a more innovative mindset, embracing technology and looking at what can technology do and how can we use technology to take this forward. So I think that went really well. And then the big thing, the administration and sales of this. How do we actually really sell this product as a product? The administration, the paperwork. Handling a claim is dependent on what we've insured. And people, by definition, needs information. That's administration. They need to know who do they talk to and when do they talk to you about something impacting on them. And that needed work.
So this is someone who can actually get up in front of people and talk about the industry. And if you're going to stand up there and be like a piece of wood or talk softly, not carry the message across, that's not really the kind of ambassador that we're looking for to represent our industry. The top group today was Knox and Blessed. You guys did a great job. The audience really liked you, but it was a very close contest between you and the second group, and I'm not going to tell you who that group was. Hopefully you guys will figure that out during the course of the week. I have a question about one of the presentations, Joseph and Carl. Whose idea was this post office thing for handling claims?
Joseph's idea.
Okay. Joseph, you came up with that idea?
I actually, no, I did not come up with the idea. So it was something that came up in a discussion. And then my idea was that because the Post Bank is no longer in place, so which was the bank that was for the SMEs and stuff.
Okay, no need to be humble because it was a fantastic idea. And I think you guys introduced that at just the right moment. I did warn you earlier that today somebody was going to be going home. And the losing group today is Sam and Gobusamang. Guys, I don't know what you did with the 3 hours that you had to prepare. You delivered a 3.5-minute presentation, which of course left a lot of time for the audience to ask a lot of questions, which you also didn't handle well. So it was just, yeah, the whole thing was poorly put together. It was actually cringeworthy. I struggled to watch it. Sam, out of the two of you, who do you think should go home?
That's a bit of a tough one because obviously I'm going to give a biased answer. Obviously you're always going to believe in yourself and you're always going to want to stay.
You think you did the better job today?
I do. I think I did well. I think I gave the best with what we were presented with, and I do. I think
Where do you think Gobusamang fell down then?
I think
If
we
not
both
you.
struggled. It was a bit of a tough task for us. I think we struggled to get the ball rolling a little bit. And we spent quite a bit of time on strategy as opposed to focusing on maybe the outcome of the task. So I think there was a bit of a downfall. We spent a lot of time on how we're going to present this.
Gobusamang, you think it should be you or Sam that goes today?
I believe that I should stay. I believe that Sam should also stay because we work to the best of our abilities.
You think you did a better job than she did today?
We worked together. Everything that was presented today was from the both of us because the way we strategized and the way we worked, we planned how we're gonna present it. It was we all were given equal tasks to do, and then we brought it all together to put it into one piece.
Yeah, okay. Well, unfortunately, one of you has to go home, and today the person that's going home is you, Gobusamang. So you're dismissed. You can leave the room.
Thank you. Finding out that I was part of the top 8, I was very motivated. I'm leaving today better than I came in, so I think it's a nice initiative because there's brilliant minds out there. It really increases the passion that we have for insurance.
To the rest of you, it's only going to get tougher now. Seats are going to be emptying every day. You're dismissed.